Hi everyone, I'm Claire Shapcott and I'm just making the second part of my tutorial on how to make your own watercolour image. We're going to be using the brushes and the layer masks that we made in the first part of the tutorial, so if you have not seen this yet, please go back and watch that. Otherwise, there's loads of watercolour brushes that you can find online. I've got some on Etsy and I'm just going to be putting up some layer masks on Etsy as well, so I'll put the link in the comments for you or in the description even. I'm also going to be using a texture photo that I took of just plain watercolour paper. All I've done is desaturated it a little bit and brought up the clarity in the slider. So I'm just gonna make my image a little bit bigger. I'm doing this so that the little dots of paint on the outside will actually have the right colours in them. So I don't mind it not being too accurate. I don't mind it looking a bit weird. You know, if it's extended the legs or whatever, it doesn't really matter because it'd just be those tiny little dots that that I want to fill just to look the right colour. So that's fine. So yeah, there's sort of some weird textures around the edges, but as I said, it doesn't really matter because that's not going to be what's in the main sort of image. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go and find that texture that I took a picture of, and I'm literally just going to click and drag it on top to create a new layer. And then I'm literally just going to click Apple T and move it around to cover the whole image. So this is just to add the texture of the watercolour paper. So then I'm going to go onto the blending mode and I'm going to select multiply. And it will just add kind of that nice painterly kind of texture. So we like that. And then I've just taken the background into a normal layer and I've just added a layer mask onto it. So then I'm just going on my watercolour brushes and I'm just going to first sort of select the areas which I definitely want to cover, so like the face and the hands, and it's deleting those areas. I do it this way around so that I can see what I'm doing, but then once I've done that, I will just invert the layer. So you just click on it and then just Command I to invert it. There we go. And then I'm just gonna mess around a bit. I'm gonna fill it in with the different watercolor brushes that I'm using. So you obviously anything that you're adding is going to be on white, and anything that you're taking away is going to be on black. So you can just play around with that. If you want to add like filters and stuff first, that's fine. I did put oil brush in the hair in that. So for the second part, I'm just going to do this using one of the watercolour paintings that I did as a layer mask instead of using each individual brushes. So I'm going to show you how to turn an image, a black and white image, into a layer mask rather than into a brush. So again, the first thing that I'm going to do is extend the edges, extend the backdrop, so that those little dots on the outside of the watercolour will be filled in. So yeah, it's probably going to look a little bit odd. I am just going to fix those corners just because it's quite easy to do. So I'm just going to use the patch tool to fix those edges. I'm going to do the same process as before. I'm just speeding it up a bit. So I'm literally just adding the texture on, setting it to multiply and creating a new layer mask. And then what I'm going to do is also drag in that image that I've done all together. So instead of doing each brush individually, I'm going to do a whole watercolour sort of painting and just change it into layer mask. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position it where I want it first. So I'm just going to make the opacity a little bit more so that I can see where she is. And actually what I'll do is I'll move her down a bit because I quite liked the composition of it where it was. So I'm just going to move her down a bit and then I'm just going to fill the top for you. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'll just merge those layers. And then I'm going to add a layer mask. And then I'm going to change the image that I had before on layer 2 into my layer mask. So I just click image, apply image, and then select layer 2 from the drop down menu, and just click OK. And then obviously I'm just going to get rid of the layer 2. Oh, and what I've done is I've also inverted the layer mask. So yeah, that's how you do it. I'm not sure about the bottom of her dress actually. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add one. I wasn't sure whether this was gonna work anyway, but I'm just gonna add one little little brush to that. Yeah, I like it like that. It looks good. So yeah, I'd love to see what you guys do with this. So yeah, and I'm sure I'll be making more tutorials. So please like and subscribe. Bye.